finishing line.
So there was Mike Mangold winning here last year. Frank, you of course raced here last year. Nightmare conditions. What are the changes this year? Are there in fact any changes this year?
Not a lot of changes to the track because the track is identical to last year's track. That means that between the narrow Thames River, the buildings over here, there's a lot of turbulence. Don't forget, it's a tidal river. The river will go up 7 meters or down. So you can imagine when the tide is going down, the anchors are slacking, that the barges will move. Can you imagine what happens if a barge turns 15 degrees, for instance in the Quadro? And then the turbulence, it will be like rock and roll in the racetrack here 2008 over Thames River in London.
Rock and roll over the Thames. Now, Nick, you're very much a London Air race virgin. We've heard Frank's point of view, the pilot's viewpoint. What can the public expect?
We'll see a few upsets. We could see new names on the podium, but we also have to pay attention to the British pilots. We all know Paul Bonham's on form. Watch out for Steve Jones, because this type of track suits our British boys.
Nick, you look a bit excited if you don't mind me saying, but why not? You're on home soil, man. We've heard about the track, we've spoken about the track, so it's time to see the track. Lads, you get your commentary position. Connie, you stay there but with a little smile on your face. That's it. I take a slight step forward and say, here is the London track.
So let's take a look at the track as the pilots come in from the west at 230 miles per hour. The chicane is the first very quick set of manoeuvres into gate 4 horizontal. Now, a knife-edge manoeuvre setting up for the Quadro, and this is one of the most difficult we've seen on the World Series so far this season. 270-degree hard turn and also high G's against the pilots' bodies. Now coming back down the track, left, right, left, very quickly through the chicane, and we're looking for around about a 36-second time if you're in the chase, as we see the half Cuban up, over, half twist out and back into the course once again. Now the pilots focus on the Quadro once more again, knife edge through, 270 around and back into that course. You're now heading for home, you're looking for the finish line, and anybody who can put in a time of 1 minute 20 or less will be on the podium. Well, Connie, qualifying got off to an unusual start when Sergei Rachmanin was forced to withdraw due to ill health. The next big surprise came from Alex McLean, putting in a storming time of 1 minute 23.61 seconds in the first session, lifting him out of the bottom 4 for the first time in 2 races. And McLean is back to his best, 1.75 seconds faster, and that's the new target in qualifying, 1:23.61. Nigel Lamb in the other MXS then blew the Spaniard's bubble. Nigel Lamb is going to not only take the lead, but also take the track record here. Nigel Lamb is flying. Look at the clock carefully. 1:20.94, 2.67 seconds faster than Alejandro McLean, and only just off Paul Bonham's track record. Nikolai Ivanov was the second regular at the bottom of the table to climb the rankings, knocking Steve Jones and Mike Goulian close to the drop zone. Everyone's hearts were in their mouths when Mike Mangold lost his elevator tip during takeoff, which led to an unwelcome announcement from race director Drew Searle.
Number 1, Mike, we just had a report from the temporary runway. You're going to have to return and have your aircraft inspected.
Mike duly obeyed the instruction, but clearly was not happy about it. Out. But quick work from Dennis Sawyer got Mangold in the air for the second qualifying run. If we were expecting a conservative time, we had another thing coming. Stops the clock just where it needs to be. That is third position. Mangold goes into the Super 8s after the drama of his first qualifying round, and Steve Jones gets knocked out and will only go forward to the .1 fly-off. The other pilot close to the magic 1 minute 20 mark was Hannes Ark. And this could be one of the pilots threatening Paul Bonham here. 1:20.26 with a 3-second penalty. But out in front, bringing the home crowd to their feet, was Smoothline Bonham. 1.63 seconds ahead of his closest rival, giving him the track record, top position, and the perfect prep for the big day.
Here I am in the hangar of Sergei Rachmanin, who unfortunately is still ill, so will not be in the 1-point fly-off, which means there are only 3 pilots that are. Here's Shihab with the highlights.
Thanks, Connie. The South African rookie was first to fly. Unfortunately, 2 penalties in the first lap put pay to his chances.
And Glenn, who has struggled, there's his first 3-second penalty. Incorrect night flying there on gate 10. And another second penalty now, 6 seconds added to the time.
Then, a massive pylon hit put Mike Goulian down to 11th with the absence of Rakhmanin.
Oh, and there's a pylon hit, and that could mean the end of the performance from Goulian.
Last to run was Steve Jones. All he needed was a clean run to take the 1 championship point for 9th.
Looking for a penalty-free performance from Steve Jones, but of course it's very difficult for a pilot to just come back a little bit. They're so used to training and racing at 100%, to come back a little bit within yourself can often cause mistakes. But as expected, there's the green light telling us that Steve Jones is the fastest pilot out there so far. It's just 1 championship point, and the fastest time of the day so far at 1 minute 25.92 for the British pilot. Glendale second, Goulian third, and sadly Sergei Rakhmanin suffering from influenza and not in action in London today. Fourth here in 2007. Alejandro getting more and more confident in his new MXS, a plane that he picked up in round 3 of the Tour in Detroit. Let's see if he can put down a clean round, and let's see if he can improve on his 1 minute 23.61 seconds, his time from his first qualifying round. 12.37 the first split as he comes around that 270-degree turn, in and out of the quadro. Oh, very close indeed. And it's down. Pylon hits, 10 seconds of penalty, and another forced error. And Frank, another indication that it's very tight and very close today.
Yeah, it was quite a vicious hit with his right wing.
Well, it did not finish for Alejandro McLean. A pylon hit, 10-second penalty at gate 7. Peter Begenet comes sweeping in right-handed over Canary Wharf, heading in at 230 miles per hour. This is a golden opportunity for Begenet to set the early pace and put the pressure on the remaining pilots still to fly here in London. Looking for around about a 12-second mark at the first split, and 12.2. Begenet pulling 8.7 Gs on that 270-degree turn, coming out of the quadro now into gate 8, a crucial part of the course. Knife edge once again, horizontal through 9, back into the chicane. Quick manoeuvres now as we're on board with the Hungarian pilot. And Frank, what are all those red lights that we see flashing in front of us there when we're on board with Begenet?
You mean the lights in the cockpit? Well, it's quite interesting. There's a lot of information in the cockpit, but I can tell you, every single pilot has a special system, and he can make his own selection when red lights are coming. So sometimes you get warning for the engine is too hot or over rotating, whatever.
Well, it's very interesting to see that Peter Begenet is starting to get back to that old, smooth, clean flying style, drawing upon his experience here now, as Begenet is looking to be the first pilot to put in a clean run and really set the pace and this Super 8's challenge alive. Begenet, of course, his best result so far this season in the opener in Abu Dhabi. 4th spot there as the Hungarian looking to be around 1 minute 20. He's over that, but Begenet, 1:24.28, not as fast as his qualifying time, but the conditions a little worse than they were 24 hours ago here in London.
Number 27, Nicolas, cleared into the track, smoke on.
Now, can the Frenchman, who resides in Corsica, get the extra 300 SR into gear here? Again, this incredibly difficult tight turn to come through the start-finish gate and start the clock ticking away. The speed is high from Ivanov, 230 miles per hour, just shy of 370 kilometers per hour. Again, this is the crucial gate and the crucial turn, perhaps the most difficult. 0.32 off the pace of Peter Begenet at the first split time, and 8.7 Gs, the Union Jack helmet of the French pilot, which will be auctioned after this race, and successfully through gate 8. Into the chicane for the second time now, on board with the Frenchman. And again, these very quick manoeuvres. The gate's coming up very quickly, just over the, 2 seconds over the 36 mark. 9.3 Gs coming out of the half Cuban. Ivanov now with a little less speed, looking to cut a tighter line through the chicane. That's where Hannes Ark has been so fast. Chicane once again. Oh, and finding time now. 1.05 off Peter Begenet. There's that long 270-degree pullback. Now heading out and heading for home now. Knife edge through 19. Horizontal through 20, into the chicane, cut it as tight and as fast as you can. As Nikolai Ivanov, guaranteed points by qualifying for the Super 8, but can he take the maximum here? And he's outside of Begenet, and he's outside by 2.19 seconds, second fastest so far, with 6 still to fly.
Number 4, Kirby, cleared into the track, smoke on.
The big story from the last round of the Tour was that neck injury in the semi-finals. He's still in considerable pain. Can the American put that behind him and lay down a challenge? He was 5th here in 2007. And he's never been worse than 5th so far this season. Now, good start from Kirby. 0.45 off Peter Begenet. 10.1 Gs, that's the highest we've seen so far in this Super 8. There's the knife edge now, horizontal, into gate 9, back down the course through the chicane once again. Right, then left, then right, horizontal through gate 11. Looking for the 36-second mark as he comes into the half cube, and 3/10 off the pace. That's off the pace of Peter Begenet, still leading. 300 kilometers per hour now the speed. That's around about 186 mph. Heading to the Quadro for the last time. 58.63 is the time target for Kirby Chambliss, and there's the green light for the American. 0.53 faster than the Hungarian leader. Kirby now just needs to keep it clean as the 2006 champion heads for home and is heading for top place. Now horizontal, just into the chicane for the last time. Looking to cut it very tight, looking for a few more tenths. 1:24.28 is the target time, and Kirby Chambliss takes the lead and takes it by an impressive margin. 0.65 of a second faster as the American takes top position. Flying in the MXS that he picked up in round 2 of the Tour. He says he's finally getting the handle on this plane. He told us yesterday that he wants to take the chicane a little tighter to find a little bit more speed. Now, Nigel Lamb with wife and family watching very carefully here, looking to make his strike for his first potential podium of the season. A very, very fast entry indeed. Again, 230 miles per hour, 370 kilometers per hour. This is the crucial now part of the track and challenge for the British pilot. 0.62, green light, 10.4 Gs. That's the highest we've seen so far. And clean on the exit of gate 7. Now coming back down the course. Again, this is the chicane where Nigel wants to cut it a little tighter and find a little extra time. 37.15 is the target, and the British pilot is still quicker than the American leader by just over half a second, coming out of the half cube and now back into the track. Back down the chicane. Into the Quadro for the last time, and still clean, penalty-free performance from Nigel Lamb. Look for the green light, watch the clock very carefully indeed. Oh, there's a judging on gate 13 as he's just 0.05 of a second quicker than Kirby Chambliss. That's one that the stewards will need to decide, but the British pilot still has 4 gates to go before he's home. Into gate 20, now through the chicane once again, and they've given him the 3-second penalty. That's very tough news, and a hard decision for Nigel Lamb. It was an incorrect level at gate 13. Nigel Lamb, well, 1:27.46 goes forth, and he's furious. Fighter pilot Mike Mangold, the winner here in London last year. 1:23.63. His American friend Kirby Chambliss sets the pace. The fastest coming into the course so far in this Super 8. 372 kilometers per hour. Oh, a little high coming into the Quadro, but that speed gives Mike Mangold nearly a second's advantage. 9.7 Gs in the 270-degree turn, and he comes out of the Quadro, well, very aggressively indeed, I think it's fair to say. Oh, the gate's down, and that's it. Mike Mangold's challenge in London is over. It's a 10-second penalty. It was a nightmare in Rotterdam, and it's a nightmare in London. 9.44 seconds off the pace, and surely now Mike Mangold will not go through to the semis, and the defending champion is in trouble in round 5 of the Tour. This season is slipping through his fingers, and he knows it. Cutting too tight a line. Oh! Well, now he's just looking to try and claim as many points as he possibly can. Guaranteed a score by qualifying for the Super 8s, but it could be as little as just 2 points. Looking to stop the clock now, faster than Alejandro McLean, than Nigel Lamb, I should say. 1:33.50, 5th position. That could be as low as 7th place and only 3 championship points. Can Hannes Ark finally climb to the top of the podium as he comes hurtling in over Canary Wharf into the start of his challenge here? 1:20.26 his qualifying time. He told us before today's event he can go clean. He knows exactly what he's got to do. Into the chicane. This is where Hannes Ark is so fast. Into the Quadro, 12:65 target time. Look for the green light on the clock. 0.48 faster, 12:17 and 9.9 Gs. Out of the 270-degree turn, back into the course once again. And it's a knife edge through 8, horizontal through 9, and back down the chicane where Hannes Ark really is finding great speed. That super slick canopy that we were talking about in Rotterdam still on the plane. The Edge 540 for the Austrian pilot. Oh, ho, ho. 1.5 seconds faster the advantage, and still no penalties for Hannes Ark. 330 kilometers per hour coming back down the track once again. Into the Quadro. Look at the G-force monitor on the left of your screens. Get higher and higher and higher. Almost 2 seconds faster than Kirby Chambliss. This is Hannes Ark booking himself a spot in the semi-finals and looking to spoil the British party of Paul Bonhomme. Wonderful flying from Ark. For me, he's got the chicane totally dialed, wonderfully confident as he heads for the line. Will he set the new track record as Hannes Ark, 1:21.25, 2.38 seconds faster than Kirby Chambliss, the fastest today.
Number 2, Paul, cleared into the track. Smoke on.
1:21.25 is the target time. He set the track record yesterday at 1:18.63. And he's told us he thinks he can go faster. 12:17 is the target. Into Quadro. Ooh, 0.28, and he's touched the gate. 10.7, a nightmare. 10 seconds penalty, and the World Series for 2008 has just been thrown wide open. Paul Bonhomme will not go through to the semis, and my, oh my, what a nightmare. Mr. Smooth has got it wrong, and the crowd are disappointed. We are amazed, and Paul Bonhomme has thrown it away. For the first time this season, the British ace has buckled under the pressure, and it's over. It's all over. It did not finish for Paul Bonhomme.
Number 2, Paul, copied. You're out. Did not finish.
Well, that has thrown round 5 of the Tour open. 4 go through. Hannes Ark, Kirby Chambliss, Peter Begenet and Nikola Ivanov. And that really is an amazing Super 8 round and a big disappointment for the British fans. Ark from Chambliss, Begenet and Ivanov. Those are the 4 pilots that go through to battle it out for the championship points. Lamb, Mangold, Bonham and McLean do not go through.
Number 27, Nikola, cleared into the track. Smoke on.
23.17 his fastest time in qualifying, but 1:26.47 was good enough to get the Frenchman into the semi-finals. 230 miles per hour, the average entry speed through the chicane, gate 3. Now into the Quadro, where most of the damage has been done in the Super 8s earlier today. 270 degrees, pull on the stick now, 8.4 Gs. Against the pilot's body. The exit is clean. It's a good start from Ivanov. The weather conditions continue to deteriorate here in London over the Thames. As we take a look at the pilot's perspective of the chicane for the second time, gate 10. Half Cuban. Again, look at the Gs. The pressure against the pilot's body, 9.3. The highest you see in Formula 1 car racing is 5 or 6, an indication how tough it is on the bodies of these pilots in Red Bull Air Race World Series. Now, Looking to try and find a little bit of time. His fastest, as we said, 1:23.17, but that was in qualifying with much better conditions. The only pilot flying the extra 300 SR. Clocks from the Super 8s, or the times from the Super 8s, disregarded. We're starting all over again. It's a straight knockout in the semi-finals to go through to the final, or the third-place fly-off as the Frenchman sets the pace in the first semi-final. 1:24.48. It's a PB for Ivanov, the best he's performed today. Will that be good enough to knock out Hannes Ark?
27 Nicola, proceed to hold 3.
Yeah, very clean run from Nicolas Ivanov, and in general the time's a bit slower, maybe because of the wind picking up a little bit, but he flew clean and he made no mistakes, so mission accomplished for Nicolas Ivanov.
No matter what the outcome for the French pilot, it'll be his best result of the season so far to date. If the worst scenario, he comes fourth position. But he's some 3 seconds slower than Hannes Ark was in his semi-final qualifying performance.
Number 28 Hannes cleared into the tracks. Smoke on.
You really do have to be totally focused from the first gate. Dropping down, coming in with great speed here, Hannes Ark. Into gate 2, chicane is gate 3, just shy of 370 kilometers per hour, just shy of 230 miles per hour. 12:39 is the target as he comes into the quadro for the first time, and already the Austrian has the green light, almost half a second quicker than the Frenchman that he goes up against in this first semi-final. Exit is smooth and clean. Gate 8 now, knife edge, into 9. The chicane is where Hannes Ark is so smooth, clean and effective, and this looks to be another good performance from the Austrian, building on his advantage. 38.22, 2.10. Surely now Hannes Ark has just got to keep it clean. Penalty-free is the main objective now for Hannes, and he's booked himself a spot in the final. Coming into the quadro for the second time. Green light will tell us that he maintains his lead and builds, continues to build. 2.37 seconds. Breathing heavily to try and keep the G-force pressure under control. Now. Whoa, it's gone! Oh no! A 10-second pylon hit! And Hannes Ark has thrown it away! Oh my, oh my! Just like Paul Bonhomme, this time it's the World Series rank number 2 that is out of the chase. 10-second penalty, and Hannes Ark hands the final place to Nicolas Ivanov on a plate. Frank, can you believe it?
Nicolas, 1 minute 24.48 seconds with no penalties. Number 28 Hannes, 1 minute 31.07 with a 10-second penalty touching the gate. Nicolas, you're into the final.
This is the Hungarian pilot, Peter Bejenej, third in London in 2007, and on target to get on the podium for a second time of asking. The Godfather now, can he put Kirby Chambliss in his place? Huge speed coming in, over 230 miles per hour, and Bejenej is looking to throw the gauntlet down to Kirby here right now. This is the tough turn now, out of gate 6, 9.7 Gs, and the exit of the quadro absolutely key. Gate 8 to 9. This is where Hannes Ark had his troubles. No such worries from Peter Bejenej. Good, clean flying from the Hungarian. Never out of the top 3 in the World Series standings for the past 3 seasons. His clean, smooth flying is his signature, and he's putting it down once again. On board with the Hungarian pilot, through the chicane once again. Fast left, right maneuvers. Horizontal, now heading for the quadro. There's the knife edge through 60. 270-degree turn. Back into the quadro once again, and Bejenej is heading home, and it's still clean. No penalties so far. Can he improve on 1:24.28? That was the time that put Peter Bejenej into these semi-finals. No question the weather conditions are getting a little worse. The light is deteriorating, but Begenet penalty free and stops the clock quicker. 1:23.50. It's a PB for the Hungarian, and he really does put the gauntlet down to Kirby Chambliss.
Yeah, as Peter Begenet heads for the holding to wait to go back to the temporary runway, a personal best time for Peter Begenet, which is absolutely fantastic. 1:23.50, a super time, and let's see what it brings him over here. Very precise flying, and the most important thing, as I mentioned often, no mistakes.
Well, that run was a whole second faster than Nicolas Ivanov as well. If Begenet does go to meet the Frenchman in the final, it will give him a confidence boost. All smiles in the crowd. Now, Kirby Chambliss looking for his second win of the season. Still suffering from a lot of pain. The neck injury that he sustained in the semi-finals in the last round of the Tour in Rotterdam. 5th in London here last year. But he's already improved on that, no matter what the outcome of this challenge. But can Kirby Chambliss better? 1:23.50, the target set by the Hungarian pilot, Peter Begenet. Interesting to see he's coming in with considerably less speed than Begenet, just shy of 360 kilometers per hour, and that will reflect in the first split, just under 4/10 slower than Begenet. High G-force, 9.9. You see the grimace on the face of Kirby Chambliss, still in pain with the neck. Knife edge through 8, horizontal through 9, into the chicane once more. Now the half Cuban looking to be under 36.78. Is the American finding time? Yes, he is. The green light is there for Kirby Chambliss. 0.08 of a second quicker than the Hungarian. Down the Thames once again, heading west towards the Thames barrier. Look for the green light for the American to knock out the Hungarian, and he's building, finding speed and time, and it's still penalty-free. Over half a second now. The advantage for Kirby Chambliss as the American, the 2006 champion, heads for home. Must stay focused. This is where Hannes Ark threw it away. No worries for Kirby. Kirby's heading for the final. Yes, he is. Kirby Chambliss knocks out Peter Begenet, and the time is impressive. 1.24 seconds quicker, a PB for the American, and he goes to the final.
Number 3, Peter, 1:23.5 seconds with no penalties. Number 4, Kirby, 1:22.26 seconds with no penalties. Kirby, you're into the final.
Good job, Peter. Good job.
In the fly-off for the third spot on the podium, an unhappy Hannes Ark faced the resurgent Peter Begenet. And it's much better, this time in the third-place fly-off. The rain starts to pour quite heavily. Visibility will not be good for the pilots. Hannes flying a little safer than his semi, set a time of 1:21.51 seconds. Peter was over 1 second down at the halfway stage, and he never made it up. He's put in another very skillful and fast performance, but it doesn't look to be enough. Peter Begenet goes 4th. Hannes Ark will be on the podium in 3rd position. 2.05 seconds slower than the Austrian for Peter Begenet.
Number 28, Hannes, 1:21.51 seconds with no penalties. Number 3, Peter, 1:23.56 seconds with no penalties. Hannes, you take 3rd place for Red Bull Air Race London.
Hannes Ark then ensuring 7 points to get as close as possible to championship leader Paul Bonhomme, who leaves London with only 3 points today. Let's take a look at the head-to-head statistics. Well, World Series rank 3, Kirby Chambliss. World Series rank 10. 1 victory to 7 victories. And, of course, 4 finals in the career of Kirby Chambliss, just 2 for Nicolas Ivanov.
Number 27, Nicolas, cleared into the track. Smoke on.
Nicolas Ivanov, the French pilot residing in Corsica, the big surprise of this 5th round of the Red Bull Air Race World Series, looks to continue to rewrite the record books here. The real underdog against Kirby Chambliss, but can he put it to the American? The famous Union Jack helmet will be auctioned off for charity after today's competition. He's not thinking about that right now as Ivanov pulls 8.7 Gs. And out of gate 7 into gate 8, this is the tricky knife edge, but good clean flying from Nicolas. Now we start to focus on the time, looking for the 36-second mark as he heads for the half Cuban maneuver. Up he goes, high Gs again, pulling hard on the stick, but it's 37.59. The rain looks to have relented just a little now. 290 kilometers per hour coming back down for the second lap. No penalties, and that's got to be the key here for Ivanov. Clean exit of the quadro for the last time. Now, knife edge. Horizontal, then the chicane. His fastest so far today, 1:24.48. He can only look to improve on that and see if it's good enough to beat Kirby Chambliss. And again, it's 1:24.62. Not the best we've seen from Nicolas Ivanov, but penalty-free. A little wave to the camera, a little punch to the air. He really wants to go for it, doesn't he? The winner of round 3 in Detroit, he won that in great style and was very calm and cool in front of his home crowd in the USA. Now, can the American do the business here in London? Again, in his last round, he came in quite slow in his entry speed, down to around about 360, just below kilometers per hour. Let's see if he opts for the same tactic here in his last challenge of the day. 1:24.62 is Kirby's target time. And again, just 367, a little faster coming in, but very clean through the first chicane. These are the toughest turns now. And the green light, as my expert in the commentary box predicted, is there, but he's got to keep it clean. Look at the G-force, 10.2 Gs for Kirby Chambliss. Gate 8 is very difficult, but again, very, very clean. He's drawing on his experience. Back into the chicane, the onboard camera of the extra 540. Half Cuban now. And watch for the green light. Almost 1 3/4 seconds as Kirby Chambliss pulls 9.2 Gs, the half turn out of the Cuban maneuver. 13 is the chicane for the second time. Oh, he looks to be in control here. This is very likely to be his second win. He's got the rhythm. He's got the feeling of the course. Now he just must stay focused to the end of the challenge. Out of the quadro for the last time. Gate 19, the knife edge, horizontal through 20. Now clean in the final chicane, and Kirby Chambliss of the United States of America has run the 5th round of the Red Bull Air Race World Series. London goes to Kirby, 3.34 seconds faster than Nicolas Ivanov, a PB for the American, and 9 championship points.
Number 27, Nicolas, 1 minute 24.62 seconds with no penalties. Number 4, Kirby, 1 minute 21.28 seconds with no penalties. Kirby Chambliss, you are the winner, Red Bull Air Race London 2008. Congratulations.
Confirmation of the final result. Kirby Chambliss from Ivanov, Hannes Ark 3rd, Begenet. The best of the Brits, Nigel Lamb, Mangold, Bonham and Alejandro McLean down in 8th. The lower part of the standings, Steve Jones, 1 championship point in 9th. Dell, Goulian and sadly Rachmanin suffering from influenza, not in action today. It is Kirby Chambliss who celebrates in London. 3rd position in the Red Bull Air Race World Series 2008. London stop goes to Hannes Ark. It could have been so much better for Hannes, but one has to note that this is his 4th podium of the season from 5 rounds. Nicolas Ivanov, a massive personal best here. The best result of his season by a long margin. 6th position, his PB until today in round 3 of the Tour in Detroit. And now he's on the podium in one of the tougher aeroplanes for these conditions. But it is Kirby Chambliss, the 2006 champion, who takes his 2nd win of the season and took it in a great style, drawing upon his experience, watching the rest of the favourites make their mistakes, and some wily flying from Kirby to take top position here in London. And for Kirby, he moves up to 2nd position in the World Series standings.
So, after the London Air Race 2008, Paul Bonham is still in the lead, but the gap is closing quite swiftly. We are lucky enough now to be joined by our 3 winners. Now, first up, Hannes Ark in 3rd place. We saw you just before you were going for the 3rd place fly-off, and you didn't seem too pleased, but I told you you'd get to the podium. Happy?
Actually, now I'm happy after racing here like three times through the course. Sure, I was not happy when I hit the pylon because I did really good times. I was flying safe in the track more or less, but it was so turbulent out there. You just do a small mistake, you don't pay attention part of a second, and that's it. That's part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy conditions at the air race today. Now, Nicholas, you came in 2nd place, and do you think this will build your confidence to go on and clinch more podium spots?
Yes, but today I was very happy. I'm very happy, and I was very lucky to fly against Hannes, and he did a small mistake, as I said, and it's one small mistake for him, and I'm on the final. It's but I'm very lucky.
Well, one man who didn't make too many mistakes is Kirby. Kirby, did you fly as well as you thought you would in those weather conditions?
Yeah, I mean, the conditions were tough. I just tried to go down and lay it down a fairly decent time, and hoping for that 1 through 4, and then guys started falling away. So it all worked out fairly well for me.
I asked this question after Detroit. I'm going to reiterate it again now. Is the big Kirby Chambliss push on to take the title?
I mean, I've had the same push on. I mean, I just want to go out there and win as many races as I can. I go out and try to win every race, and then we'll just kind of let it all fall out after that.
Congratulations again, Kirby. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you in September. Let's give it the wave.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.
kilometres an hour. He is farzing around 8 Gs at this point. I don't believe it. He's hit the gate. Very clinically done. Coming up to the finishing line.